of Dementia.
Welcome to Illo Talk. I am Cory Kerr. This is 100 Days of Animation, day 27, possibly 28, depending on if I mash this together or not. But anyway, doing some more storyboarding, and I'm trying to work out the story beats and everything. And so what you're seeing on the screen is me taking a Sharpie and drawing on this giant pad that I've got. Tiny little squares, because I'm trying to work that out. I will likely photograph these and then kind of move them around because some of them belong in a different order or whatever. And there are entire rows where I'm like, nah, I don't really like that, so I'm going to do that again. But so far, it seems like I'm able to fit a single act on a single page. And I've got Act 1 and 2 done. So that's cool. Though there's a lot more than I was originally anticipating. So still shooting for 100 days. I was talking to a friend of mine at work today, and he was commenting on how quickly I was getting this done. And I thought, holy cow, man, this is dragging like nothing else. And I don't know if it's this vlog where every day I have to comment on what it is that I'm doing. And there's like 3 days in a row or 4 days maybe even, where I rigged the same stupid freaking arm over and over and over again at the beginning. And because I was learning, I'm trying to figure it out. So anyway, stepped away from the computer for a few minutes. And what I'm actually going to do now is work out the story, because I have the main characters and I want to get the beats down, because what I'm going to do is build an asset list off of that. So that's what you're seeing on this screen right now. Cue the intro music. So I've been thinking a lot about opportunity cost. I took an economics class in college and I absolutely loved it. The beginning of the class, when we were talking about like theory of economics, macro and microeconomics, and supply and demand, and some of the theories behind those things and why people do the things that they do and how prices are controlled, different economic theories of Keynesian and, that type of thing. Really awesome. And then they jumped into the math and I got completely lost and I can't figure anything out past that point. But up until that point, there's been something that has always stuck with me, and it's this idea of opportunity cost. And opportunity cost is the cost of something, of an action that you take or a choice that you make, is all based on the next best thing that you could have done, right? And so if I spend $5 on a burrito and the second choice was a salad, the opportunity cost of that burrito is the salad, right? And so I've been thinking a lot about this. I was invited to speak at a thing today to talk about personal projects and passion projects and side hustles and whatnot. I run a small Facebook group called Side Hustle. And so I was talking about that, and it really got me thinking about like the things that we sacrifice to do personal projects. And why do I do that? Well, first off, a lot of people are like, oh man, I don't know how you have the time to do that. My wife and I went to an event one time recently at the end of last semester that I host this event where we all illustrate stickers at the end of it, and we come in and we trade stickers, and it's fun. And all of my students know that I spend most of my free time, I spend a good portion of my free time working on some kind of project, whether it's an illustration, a comic book, or in this case, a short animated film. And they all came up to my wife, not me, but my wife. What's that like? How do you do that? Do you ever see him? And the fact of the matter is that we see each other all the time, and that we spend a lot of time together. And she does stuff while I do stuff, and we have a TV in my studio and a big overstuffed chair, and she comes in and hangs out while I do stuff. And but it's the other things, like the things that you have to say no to because you're doing a passion project. And this brings me to something that I talk about a lot: important versus urgent. Important versus urgent. There are a lot of important things that never get done because they don't feel urgent. And there are a lot of urgent things that are not important, but they take up most of people's time because they feel really urgent at the time. And the difference between something that is important and something that is urgent is a year from now, will that matter? And it is never urgent to start a passion project. It's never urgent to say, you know what? I'm going to learn how to draw. I'm going to learn how to animate. I'm going to learn how to do whatever. But I guarantee you, every passion project I've ever done, it has drastically changed my life a year afterwards, at least a year afterwards, sometimes sooner. But it's mattered. It's made a big difference in my life. I now have a series of things in my wake, in my past, that I have started and completed that never felt urgent. It never feels urgent. It never feels like, man, I've really got to jump in and do this. I've really got to get in and, and draw another page, or I really need to finish that thing. No one's paying me to do it. No one's expecting me to do it. My social media following is not gigantic. It's not like I have fans clamoring, to see more stuff and banging down my door if I haven't shown them something for a while. I don't have any of that. But what I do have is I do have a series of passion projects that I've completed that have significantly increased my skill set. I get client work based on the things that I share. I've gotten jobs off of the things that I can do, and I can do these things because I spend a significant amount of time being excited about working on stuff. And so now I've gotten to the point where I was talking to a student today, and she was at that event, and I was talking about passion projects and why you should authentically create things. And that's more important than anything that you learn in any class at any level, right? The stuff that school is great if you don't let the classes get in the way. And what I mean by that is there's good people there. There are good people there. There are good opportunities, and the learning is great. But the real learning and the real thing comes in what you decide to do outside of class. If you only do the things that you are required to do, then you will only get the results that literally everybody else gets. And so if you want to succeed and get more or better or different results than everybody else, you've got to do more. You've got to do more than the bare minimum. If you shoot for the minimum, you will reap minimum results. And so one of the things that you can do that's extra is to do a passion project. It is extraordinary to spend a portion of your free time creating something that you are not required to do. That is extraordinary. There are not that many people doing that. You wouldn't know it to look at me, but I played football in high school. I mainly sat on the sidelines, but I was kind of the moving tackling dummy. And it was fun. It was a blast. But I had a coach who would say, this is really hard. And that is why there are 50 people on this team and 3,000 people in the stands. If it was easy, there'd be 50 people in the stands and 3,000 people on this team. But it's something hard that you're doing. And so with that, this student came up to me and she said, I'm so glad that you said this today because I was in your class about 2 years ago and you had mentioned this thing about passion projects. And at the time I thought, yeah, I should really do that. And then stuff kind of got in the way and other things. And I had homework and there's stuff that's due and, you've got to go do this and go do that. And then I heard you say it again, about a year later at a different thing. I thought, yeah, I really do need to do that. Well, 2 years have passed and the student hasn't started her passion project. Now, I think she will. But I bet that she'll regret not having started it 2 years ago because she could have 2 to 4 passion projects completed, or at least, a couple thousand hours under her belt in a specific skill set or something. And it's one of those things, and I hear that every so often because I do this every semester where I encourage my students to do a passion project. I hear this every so often where people come up to me and say, I've heard you say this before, and it's important because it's been a year and I haven't done anything and I wish I had. So the important things matter a year from now. Whether you do them or not, they will make a difference in your life. Anyway, and so one of the rules that I follow in my life that has blessed my life more than almost anything else is I constantly spend a little bit of time, constantly. Sometimes it's hours, sometimes it's if I can only squeeze in a few minutes, but most of the time I'll spend anywhere from 10 to 25 hours a week doing something that I enjoy that I am not required to do at work. And having done that, I've taught myself a number of things. And it's been really, really beneficial. So anyway, so there's my little tidbit for the day. Passion projects are really important, but they will never feel urgent. And so you have to carve out time for them. And I'd be really interested to know, you guys watching this, what passion projects you are working on right now. Or if you're not, repent ye, and come and start a passion project. If you're not, I want to know in the comments the passion project that you're going to do. You can use this video to commit to doing something, and I think that will be really helpful in your life. It won't really impact many other people, though it could. A lot of people's passion projects spiral into this bigger thing that they didn't even know was going to be a thing, and a whole community develops around it, or it becomes a movie, or it becomes whatever, right? And so I'm interested in either what you're doing right now or what you are planning on doing. And if you want to see what I'm working on, subscribe and you can watch these videos. That would be awesome. Also, you can go to corykerr.com. I have an email newsletter. I've got a little tab there that you can see where my social media is. That's corykerr.com. And we will catch you tomorrow. This has been Illo Talk. I am Cory Kerr. This is day 27 of 100 days of animation, where I spend a minimum of 30 minutes every day working on my short film, which I still need to name, and I will name at some point in time. I keep leaning towards complicit. I really like that. But I also like the word demonstrable, even though it doesn't mean anything bad. It just means that something can be easily demonstrated. It has the word monster in it, and I like that the sound of something that's demonstrable. It sounds really ominous, but it doesn't actually mean anything that I want it to mean. A friend of mine on Twitter, who has this awesome webcomic, he mentioned For Queen and Country, which I thought would be cool because we're talking about bugs and hives and the queen of the hive and things like that. And it's so good, but it doesn't quite work because it's a dude. The dictator's a guy. I guess it could be a girl. It's a beetle. I think all beetles kind of look the same. They're not necessarily gender specific like other animals are. So I don't know. I'm still kind of on the fence. Anyway, 100 days of animation. Illo Talk. Catch you tomorrow. I feel like I need to do something for a couple seconds while the end music plays.